everyone. I want to welcome. We're pumped to have you all here with us all today. We know that your time is very valuable, so we're going to definitely just go ahead and jump right into something that that we see is very powerful for our growing Dyer Vent Wizard businesses. This has to deal with video retargeting. And as we've seen some incredible results with this strategy, and today we're excited to show you all exactly how to use this and how to win back those customers who almost booked and then turn them into some paying clients. So I know that everyone would definitely appreciate that. And then let me also say I personally appreciate everyone that's really coming together to help us continue to help strengthen everyone's brand and visibility and ranking. As I like to tell everyone, we're all business owners, so we definitely understand your plight and definitely want to continue to have these particular webinars to help you all continue to further your business plans. And so, with that being said, we'll go ahead and turn it over to John.
All right, great. Fantastic. Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Rosie. Okay, today we're going to get started basically going through a PowerPoint presentation that we put together so it's a little more logical. We can get to this information. The primary objective here is to educate, and then we have a very primary follow-up action that we're going to ask everybody to collaborate on or individually submit at the end of the presentation over the next 2 weeks. So let's jump into it. All right, if everybody can see this, this is leaky bucket. So this is something that we've been talking about, but we're putting a metaphor to it. All right, so most businesses have a leaky bucket. When it comes to their website traffic, almost 98% of all visitors leave without converting. That's a crazy statistic, but we have data to prove that. They were interested enough to visit, but not ready enough to take an action yet. They're not gone forever, though. They just need more touch points before they make a decision. We'll discuss what those touch points are. Without a follow-up strategy, that potential revenue is slipping away. That's why we call it a leaky bucket. This is where video ad retargeting comes in. We can do image ad retargeting. We can do any type, but video is the most high converting. And in particular, we'll focus on YouTube and Meta and TikTok. They all work very similar, although they have different conversion rates and different costs. And we can re-engage those visitors and keep your brand top of mind until they're ready to take action. Okay, so now that we understand the problem, let's talk about the solution, retargeting. When somebody visits your site and leaves without taking an action, that doesn't mean they're not interested. They just need a little more reminding and persuasion. I'm sure we've all experienced that. With video ads, we target people who have already visited your website, which we have now done that for everybody. We've installed the tracking code on the Neighborly website and your landing pages, and we bring your brand back to them when they're already spending time on their favorite channels like YouTube, Meta, and TikTok. We remind them why they need your service. This is a chance to reinforce your value, overcome objections, and show them what makes you stand out, your major selling points or pain points, or maybe what the competition is not doing is good. We bring them back to book an appointment. That's the goal. With the right messaging and targeting, we can turn lost visitors into paying customers. Retargeting isn't just about showing ads. It's about strategically guiding people back until they're ready to convert. Okay, let's break down the customer journey and how retargeting fits into it. At the top of the funnel, we have the cold audience. And we're gonna go top to bottom because that's how it works with all types of marketing. So at the top of the funnel, we have the cold audience. These are the people who may not know about your business yet. We bring them in with general ads and now search engine optimization to raise awareness. Next, we move them to the warm audience, those who visited your site or interacted with your brand on social media. They're familiar with you, but they're still considering their options. Retargeting ads can be here to remind them why they should choose your service. At the bottom of the funnel, we focus on the hot audience. People are ready to make a decision. These are the ones who are actively engaging with retargeting ads and ready to book an appointment. Retargeting helps guide prospects through each stage of the funnel, bringing them closer to conversion, increasing your chances. Now, a lot of you are used to hot leads. That's at the bottom of the funnel. Google Ads is great at scooping those up. So many times there's many touch points in between, and that's what we want to focus on with retargeting. There's a precise way to do it, and there's a way that's generally works, which is less expensive. That's what we'll focus on today. Okay. So now let's look at why retargeting works so well. It drives higher conversion rates. Retargeted visitors are 70% more likely to convert, which means you're turning more of those site visitors into customers. It also generates a better click-through rate. Retargeting ads literally get 10x more clicks compared to standard ads. This leads to more engagement and action from your audience. And the best part, retargeting lowers your your cost per lead 3 to 4x, depending on your market. You're getting more results for less money. Now, this is a supplemental thing. We'll talk about budget allocation. Lastly, retargeting helps build trust. Repeated exposure builds familiarity. And when people trust your brand, they're more likely to book your services. For home services, retargeting isn't just a strategy, it's an effective tool that amplifies your marketing efforts. So again, Google Ads is really good. Search ads at picking up these things, but we want to like warm up the audience, get them hot, bring them down the pipeline, remind them over and over who you are, and do that repeated exposure. Brand awareness is good, but without the utilizing the technical aspects of these systems, you're not taking full advantage of brand awareness. It's not good enough just to throw an ad out there. There's all kinds of sophisticated means with each ad system to help you retarget and get leads. All right, let's talk about what makes it high converting retargeting videos. This is where we're going to get into the weeds a little bit. First, trust building is key. Show testimonials, certifications. I know Dyer Vent Wizard of Los Angeles is really keen on that, especially the certifications. I think that's important for their area. And before and after examples. I know all of y'all know that's really good, right? Dirty vent, good looking vent, house burning down, not burning down, these kind of things. To build trust with your audience and demonstrate the value of their service. Next, we create a sense of urgency, or as we like to call it, FOMO. I'm sure everybody knows what that means, fear of missing out. So use limited time offers and seasonal reminders. And this is where we're kind of encouraging our clients right now with the Klaviyo email system to do seasonal reminders. Like, for example, Chris Owen, and I believe Jordan can speak to this as well. It's been quite cold up in the New York, New Jersey region. So we've been sending out newsletter blasts that are kind of funny a little bit. Frozen tundra, got you down, we're still here to help you during the winter. So, and it converted. We got some leads out of it. That's now that's a different type of marketing, but still, it speaks to the point about seasonality reminders. Finally, highlight how your services can save customers time. For example, show how your service reduces lost labor hours, and minimizes rework, which ultimately leads to greater efficiency for the customer. And I think there's a lot of selling points just within that. Saving customers time is a big point that's not pointed out in almost anybody's videos. Because I'm sure all of y'all go on site and somebody has tried to fix it themselves, wasted a lot of time, right? Maybe we can cut to the chase and get them before that. Amazon Ads does a great job selling a $20 tool, trying to sell people just on the opposite, but same selling point. We'll sell you a tool cheaper, do it yourself, make it quick, but ultimately ends up breaking their system unless they get lucky, right? But then that's where you guys come and clean up. So they're kind of a lead generation source for you. Remember, it's essential to keep your videos short, sweet, and focused on the customer's needs. This keeps the message clear and impactful. Okay, so now let's talk about the ideal video length since we talked short and sweet for retargeting ads. 15 seconds or less is the sweet spot for social media retargeting. TikTok these days, you got to grab people in 6 seconds. But generally speaking, the attention times are shorter. But if you can imagine an initial concept, a cold ad came out. Hi, here we are. This is what we do. Let's say we tagged them. Well, then the next 10 ads they get that are video, they should be really specific selling points that are 15 seconds or less, like buyer, mold, repair, cost, competitor analysis, testimonials, before and after. These are all things that can be in the ad rotation for the next several months, unless, in case somebody didn't purchase, or perhaps they'll purchase that week because they were reminded. So short videos are more likely to grab attention in summary. In the first 3 seconds, make sure you front load the attention grabber, because we don't want to just show a logo and some music and, not get to the point. How many times does that get skipped? And we'll talk about skipping in a moment. We have analytics on that. These first moments are crucial to hook your audience before they scroll away. Using engaging formats to capture attention, like testimonials, like I mentioned, explainers, and showing how you solve a problem. Victor, can you speak to the hooks?
Yes, hooks are definitely highly important. Hooks are literally what as we call them hooks, what really goes and grabs the attention of those individuals. And I always say your hooks need to be very entertaining. And I break down the definition of entertaining to mean this: let me enter your mind to contain it. And that way, once we have containerized your mind and then we're able to really drop in the message of what we're wanting to promote. So definitely those hooks are are highly important. I'll even give an example of maybe your favorite song. A lot of people may not remember the verses of a song, but you'll definitely remember the chorus over and over again. But and that's written for a purpose, as it's called the hook. So kind of the same, generalization of you definitely want to be able to get in there, grab those individuals' attentions, grab their mind, contain it, drop in the message, and then look for the residual ROI after that.
And to your point, we are considering creating some jingles.
Yes, that is correct.
Yep. And to the counterpoint to that, many people watch ads on mute. How many people use social media scrolling on mute? So you should always include captions or text and overlays, which is part of our guidance and what we do with post production. But something to keep in mind while we're making these suggestions, because there's many different ways that people use their devices. So in summary on this, keep it short, engaging, accessible, make a hook, and then be aware of the different types of audiences and how they're going to see your ad. Excuse the graphics. We don't have many awesome looking people showing phones with Dyer Vent Wizard. All right. So the key to converting visitors into customers is having a clear call to action. But to my point, she's saying book now, right? Okay. So that's a pretty clear call to action. Now we don't have to be that ridiculously oversimplified, but it should be very simple, whatever it's going to be. Use direct, simple CTAs that tell your audience exactly what to do. You do not give them a directive. How do they know what to do? In your case, book now, schedule service, call today. You know, all of them mean the same thing to them, essentially. But when they hit that landing page, they're going to make their action, right? And the call to actions need to be there as well. And we can talk about retargeting ads as well that have phone number clicks. So they don't even have to go to a landing page. That's an option that's rolled out to Meta right now. It's also crucial that the CTA is visible. I just wanted to make that very clear, visible and easy to click. So that is always going to happen in every ad platform. But inside the video, it needs to be very clear that there's an action, like book now, because right below that in the primary text or the headline, it's going to have that button that's going to be easy to click. But we got to tell them. Hey, that's why people say, hey, like and subscribe, that kind of thing. They just, tells people the directive. Victor, what's your opinion on like and subscribe and giving people directives at the end of videos?
You definitely want to give as John said, a very direct and clear call to action. I would always say make it very simple because simplicity will definitely help what we've seen drive better conversions. As far as again containerizing, that individual within the very message that you're wanting to send.
Yep, that's correct. And to the last point, to the relevant landing page. So this is really important. It's coming up more and often with all of our clients at Dyer Vent Wizard that multi-unit commercial work, apartment work, all everything under commercial is something that we want to be marketing for. And it seems like people are getting lists, however they're getting them, and we're doing email marketing to those lists with some degree of success and not success. Now, I haven't seen an example yet within Dyer Vent Wizard Network where we can see, when I mean network, I mean the owners themselves, where a video commercial has been run, retargeted in a landing page that talks about just commercial. To us, it's a no-brainer. I mean, we do this all the time in other home services. We do this in other verticals. We need to make landing pages more than what we just have right now. Right now, we have a catch-all. It's not a bad catch-all, and we have the statistics on how people use those pages. And part of the pages are not used. Some pages, jump to repairs, and they want to know more information about repairs. So, for example, let's say we're making a commercial about multi-unit, okay, and apartment. Maybe people that manage or people that are interested in getting their commercial building serviced, or I'm sorry, their business. Okay, so for example, let's take the washateria or the gym or whatever. If we're making a video about that, when they hit that video, the call to action should take them, if they want to learn more, to that specific landing page. Doesn't have to be crazy. It could be like a scroll with a banner and at the bottom, the major selling points. And we can build off the templates that we have right now. But as you can imagine, I'm interested in something, or Google has my search history, or Meta has my search history, shows me this ad. I go to the landing page, I don't convert. I get retargeted, and then I go take a look again. I'm like, okay, you know what? These guys are top of mind, seem to know what they're doing. Let's go ahead and give them a shot. Now, if we send a commercial client or potential client for washateria or something like this to a page that says Dyer Vent cleaning for your home, how well is that going to resonate? It's not. And that's part, no, I'm not saying part of the issue that we got going on, but part of the optimization that we could be taking further. So that's something that we're going to recommend. And I think that video marketing makes the most sense because how do we got the keyword data. The people that are searching for commercial and the people that are searching for residential, they're still searching the same keywords. We just need to segment them and show them the right video ad, get them warmed up, and then show them the right landing page and show them the right network. I haven't seen anybody running LinkedIn ads yet. I think that will probably be a very viable option, at least to test, you know? Okay, so we'll move on from this one. And by the way, if anybody has any questions during this at all, like I'm halfway through the slides, happy to take questions in the middle, but we have a Q&A at the end. So if you can hold your questions at the end and it makes sense, fine. If it's something that's really related to what's going on, happy to answer. Okay, so now let's talk about where you can run retargeting ads. There's many places, almost every social network,
It is.
every ad plat. Yep, go ahead. Somebody got a question?
The average bear.
Or is that somebody taking themselves off mute for a moment? Okay. All right. So now let's talk about where you can run retargeting ads. So Meta, Facebook and Instagram is what Meta is. Perfect for local reach. Offers highly detailed targeting. They're one of the best, to be honest. Let's talk about what Google just did recently too. It's where people spend a lot of time scrolling and engaging with ads. Now, as you have all found out, they're instant forms, except Pam, or let's say Dyer Vent Wizard of Redlands, found out that instant forms are very good in their area. But most of y'all found out instant forms are not good in your area. And this is where social makes a big difference. Because we might find out TikTok is terrible for the instant forms in Redlands, right? It's just all about testing. So retargeting is what we're going for. And by the way, Pam and Silouan, we're doing retargeting plus instant forms. So we're trying to get as much volume as possible and not lose out on your instant forms. All right, so as to like which network is the best, Meta and Google are always best to start off with. Now, something that Google got rid of in 2019 was fingerprinting, which means collecting everything about you. IP address, maximum search history. Cookies were supposed to be deprecated. They're not. They just switched it back on. Terrible for privacy, great for everybody who's in business. Now we can have a higher customer match rate. And we'll get into what customer match rate means. So this is really good for advertisers and really good for businesses. So with Google and YouTube, you can reach people on the world's largest second search engine and video platform. Google owns YouTube. Of course, you all own Google Ads accounts. So, when we're running YouTube ads or demand gen ads, which run YouTube, you already have conversions history in there. So that doesn't take a lot of time to learn and gets a lot of volume. YouTube ads are particularly effective for retargeting as they allow you to engage users visually, and they have a lot of options for interacting with their ads. Lastly, Google Demand Gen is the all-in-one platform for managing your retargeting campaigns for everything that's video with Google. It's newish, but the new version of it came out in January, and it works well. It offers a seamless experience for running ads across multiple Google video ad channels. These platforms cover most of your local customers' online time, not forgetting TikTok, where a lot of people and eyeballs are. All of these retargeting strategies don't have to cost a lot, and they're very scalable. So we'll talk about that next. Okay, audience segmentation. So we're going to do a visual after this, or maybe in between this, about audience segmentation, because we need to talk about where do we get our audience, where do we build it, how do we do lookalike audiences, and what does all this mean? Okay, so to effectively target the right people, you need to break your audience into specific groups on their behavior. Pixel, which means Facebook or TikTok, are the most common. I mean, they can mean some other things too, but those are the big ones, right? And LinkedIn. These are people who have visited your website. And with Pixel, which is just a fancy term for tracking technology with these companies, we're collecting their information. You can bring them back to complete an action they didn't take the first time. So, for example, let's say somebody comes to the Neighborly website, comes to your landing page, goes to your Facebook page, goes to your YouTube channel page, whatever the case may be. They are now tagged. We get to set that for 30, 60, 90 days. If the sales cycle is longer, like 120 days, we could do that. It's typically not what's going to be happening in your case. We're going to do a couple case studies with this and go ahead and pay for some third-party tracking so we can see the user touch points to see what is typical in your industry. Because we might discover things that nobody knows. Maybe sales cycle for some people is 90 days. We have people coming back from campaigns from over 3 months ago, suddenly knocking on the door when the ice is melting up north, saying, "Hey, ready to go." It's happening in our industry too. So it's very, very possible that there's a longer sales cycle that we're not considering. All right, so where do we get all this information from and how do we use it? So customer list audiences lets you target past customers or leads. You can upload your customer data to run retargeting ads to those who have already shown interest in your business. So these customer lists can be your email list. It can be people that you've, um, excuse me, it can be people that, well, for example, we'll be really specific to Dyer Vent Wizard. People are exporting data from OnVerity, exporting data from their Outlook sent box. We have a tool to gather that data, and we're exporting things that people have lists from whatever, right? Maybe they sourced it from an apartment complex association, or whatever the case may be. We upload all of this data and past clients, and then put it into the systems, and then the systems learn from it. Lookalike audiences. What is this? Allow you to target people who share characteristics with your best customers. This is a great way to expand your reach and find new customers who are likely to convert. Engagement-based audiences segment people who based on their actions on your website or video ads or whatever case we're tracking. For example, you can target those who visited a specific page but didn't complete a booking. And also, let's never forget, because in your industry, I think this is very important, exclude those who are already converted to being paying customers recently to avoid wasting ad spend on those who have already taken the action you want. Because more than likely, if somebody's done service in the last 30 days, we don't want to retarget that person, but people that look like them. Okay, so I'm going to pause my screen just for a moment. Give me just a second. And I'm going to share something with you. That way you can see what this looks like. Give me just a moment. All right, here we go. All right. Victor, can you see my screen for lookalike audiences?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the source of these audiences, right? So source, like we mentioned, can be a list of individuals who have demonstrated high value spending. Example, the top 10% of recent customers. In your case, let's throw them all in there because they're all equal. What does lookalike audiences means? Okay, well, in Meta, TikTok, Google, we can all do very similar things. So we do a 3% lookalike. Those are Meta users in a specified location who are most similar to the source audience. Source audience in this case being the email list. Okay, so here's an example. So 1.6 million users. Let's not use the UK. We have some UK clients, but have this particular profile characteristics that they share. If we do a 10% lookalike, a larger, more heterogeneous set of individuals, then it goes up to 5.5 million. This is not recommended typically unless you're not getting results. Then we do 10%. Typically, we do 1 or 2%, and then we target those and build a retargeting campaign based off of that. And here's a very easy example. It looks simple, but there's a lot of technical stuff that goes in the background. But let's say we wanted to target all website visitors in the last 180 days, which is 2.7 million people, and we want a lookalike audience of 1% characteristics that they are matching. Well, then we got 2.7 million people in this case. Well, what's happening in a lot of your accounts, and I'll show you a live one. So over here, let's do actually Dyer Vent Wizard of Los Angeles. If you don't mind, I'll show off your account. So in the cold traffic set, which we don't have any email list uploaded that's significant here. We're doing it strictly based off of previous converters and people who have interacted. We have an estimated audience in the cold traffic top of the funnel at 2 million, 2.6 million. Of course, you have a large footprint, a very large area. Lookalike plus retargeting goes down to 600,000 currently. Now, can we tighten this up a bit? Yeah, we can. Okay, so we have a lot of zip codes, and right now we're using 2%. If we start to find out that the results are diluting and the demographics don't match, we'll tighten this down to 1%. But in the beginning, the retargeting for your campaign was only at 100,000. So it's building data. It takes time. All right. Let's talk about how your database works and the privacy of these emails. So when your database is filled with emails, whether Meta or Google or whatever, it's then anonymized and matched and builds lookalike audiences. I do believe I have an anonymous. Yeah, here we go. This is from Google. And so original customer data is inputted, and with the hash customer encryption, 256-bit encryption, it then optionally, if you want to send it into a secure certificate, which is all mumbo jumbo, but basically it means how secure do you want to get with this data? It then gets mashed up in this pot, then matches, and then looks for similar audiences. You can always delete these audiences as well. But for privacy concerns, your email list is secure and anonymous. Well, to us and the system, we can't see. Google has their own ways, right? Okay. And then to our point earlier about creating audience segments, anybody who visited your blog or a particular blog, let's say you had a blog that blew up, or maybe a service page that you're really interested in, well, we can retarget anybody that went to a particular page on your website. And that's why it's not only important to create all these geo and service pages, but we can actually do a lot of things with the geo and service pages if one becomes more popular than the other. All right, so Google Ads targeting settings, and I'm going at this every which way we can so I can just show you. So Google segments, detailed demographics, affinity segments, and end market. What all this means is we can do life events like, okay, have you been in a situation? Are you in Dyer Vent home markets? Like, are you looking for a service tool for this? Are you a male or female? Are you 35? Do you have 25% income range? That's what all this means. So your data segments then go into website remarketing, YouTube remarketing, and customer matching. And so you can get really detailed with this stuff. That's our job, is to guide you and to set this up. Okay. I think that does it on that part. And just to give a little sales cycle, just to recap, a very good visual here. Potential customer visits your site, they show interest, but they leave without buying. Okay, now that you know about the technology and how we're targeting them, they later visit the website, your ad appears and recaptures their interest. They click on it, land on your site, and complete the sale. Purchases and lead generation, very similar. Okay, so I'm gonna stop my screen share, go back over to the presentation. Give me just one moment. Okay, screen one. Victor, can you confirm that you can see the presentation?
Yes, it can be seen.
Okay, great. Thanks, everybody. All right. All right, let's talk about budgeting and ROI. So when planning your retargeting budget, and this really depends on your budget. If you're talking about $500 a month, then the formula doesn't work, right? If you're talking about a few $1,000s per month, then this formula works. It's important to allocate the right amount for impact, because if you just throw meta ads at the wall or TikTok ads at the wall without retargeting, and then don't have enough budget as well, you're only going to get as much as you put in, because you need to have a budget for cold traffic and you need a budget for warm traffic. So a good rule of thumb is to allocate 10 to 20% of your total ad spend. And if you're worried about retraining your Google ads, add additional 10 to 20%. I've got some starting recommendations that are bare minimum with these systems, and I'll show you why. This ensures that you're investing in a high return strategy, essentially. So retargeting ads typically have a lower cost per lead and a higher ROI compared to standard ads. The standard ads are required to go pick up all those warm traffic that are cold traffic turning into warm. So starting with a small budget, bare minimum, $5 to $10 per day per ad set. Ad set equals warm, ad set equals cold, okay? Which means videos that are cold, videos that are warm. And then you scale that as you begin to see results. As we just saw, there was 2.6 million in Dyer Vent Wizards in Los Angeles. That was cold traffic. Then warm traffic turned out to be about 600,000, which normally the ratio is about 25% turns into warm traffic with lookalike. And so if you're targeting the less people, that budget goes further, as long as we're showing them multiple ads and they don't get ad fatigue. Finally, we ensure the track conversions to measure and optimize your ROI. Okay, we're not measuring the right things, like you go to schedule or fill out a form or do a phone call that's longer than 30 seconds. None of this matters. That's the stuff that we do. Fine tuning. Okay, so here's an example of how a retargeting funnel works, and we just talked about it, but I just want to go down the funnel one more time. From a website visitor to a paying customer. First, the visitor arrives on your site, doesn't convert. This is where retargeting kicks in. The visitor is then added to your retargeting audience list, which allows you to show them engaging video ads as they continue browsing. Once they see your video ad, they're reminded of your service and are more likely to take an action. If they're interested, they'll click the ad and return to the site and complete the desired action. Finally, they book your service and become a paying customer, closing the loop, turning lost profits into revenue. Hopefully, with the help of Neighborly, because they're working with us, we're going to get the online scheduler, okay? We get the online scheduler, that's going to help a lot with closing this loop, especially with people who can't get back to the forums in time. Okay, so just got a couple slides to go. I'm going to talk about some YouTube video sequencing. Victor, I'll get your input on this as well. Okay, so for YouTube video sequencing, this is a whole different strategy. We're going to talk about Google now instead of Meta. Meta, TikTok, and LinkedIn all work very similar, and they get a lot of volume, very cheap, and you got to wait some time to collect some data. Now, everybody already having Google, you have data. We don't have to wait as long. And their solutions that they have for this type of thing are inexpensive, and there's more of an audience. It's a bigger platform. Okay. In a successful YouTube video sequence, which I will tell you what that means, you will follow a logical order to guide the video through a journey. The first part is the teaser, okay, the call to traffic, where you highlight the problem. Okay, you've got some dryer vent problem. Maybe you're not even aware that you have a dryer vent problem. You got a dryer problem. You're educating. Okay, is the next solution your audience is facing. So to capture their attention, get them interested in the solution. Did they watch it? Send them to the next video. Did they skip it? Okay, send them down a different path. Maybe they don't care about that. Okay, next we move to the education phase. Okay, if they cared, here you present the solution. Okay, this is what your service can offer. Finally, in the offer stage, because now they're going to see the next video, if they still haven't converted, we're going to drive viewers to take an action, like specifically, like book now, like whatever it's got to be in their face. It's got to be like a really clear call to action. By using a sequencing strategy, you lead your audience from awareness to interest, and ultimately to conversion. Okay, I'm going to stop my share. I want to share a screen here. I'm going to let Victor talk about this in a moment. Okay, give me just a moment while I pilot this. Okay, Victor, can you confirm that you're seeing the retargeting?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Skippers and viewers. Everybody knows who they are, right? So I'm a big skipper until I see something I like. I'm one of my own customers. So, so the idea here for the path is skippers go down a certain path until you finally end them at, well, let's say they skip everything. We take them to the clear call to action no matter what, because at least they skipped everything, right? Viewers, we can take them through a journey, a story, okay? And then everybody's going to end up, hopefully, at the same place. So let's take a look at this example here. So video sequence step 1. All right, we have a set amount of money we want to spend on this set. And if they skip it, then we send them to sequence number 2. And this could be the difference between a commercial and a residential client. It could be the difference between somebody caring about getting something done urgently or somebody who needs to sell a home and they need to get something up to code. Whatever the case may be, we're going to have to build these segment ideas, run them by you, build these script ideas, run them by you. Okay, so Victor, you're very much into storytelling. Go ahead and give some ideas on this, please.
Well, the other thing I'll speak to is that with this type of process, it helps with what we call ad fatigue. Because even in retargeting, if we continue to show the same customer the same ad over and over and over and over, especially in the retargeting process, what we see is that that ad then becomes ineffective because it becomes, the potential customer then is tired of seeing that ad. So by us developing a narrative based on the psychological process that that particular individual is operating, i.e., if they're a skipper or if they skip so many ads, then we're able to help program these systems to where the ad fatigue has a less of effect.
How do you propose removing ad fatigue?
The way that you remove ad fatigue is again going in and seeing the metrics and the characteristics of that particular individual or customer, where we're able to see those metrics. So by able to seeing those, we're able to help guide that customer journey throughout that process.
Gotcha. And I've just got something here which is really, really, really common in all systems. So when we start talking about ad fatigue that can destroy your performance, it doesn't usually happen in the first week or two, but definitely will happen weeks later, right? Okay, and we see a total stoppage of people interested in ads over 8 weeks. Okay, so when we're talking about retargeting over 8 weeks, we need to have different assets. Now, here's something that all the AI systems that have been implemented to what they do. So if somebody shows me an awesome service or product and I'm like, cool, I didn't skip it, or maybe I skipped it, but I didn't hit thumbs down, well, then I'll see the next one. But if it's the same thing over and over and over, now you can hit thumbs down. I don't want to see this ad anymore. And then you've taken them out of the loop, which destroyed the entire purpose of retargeting. So we do not want that to happen. So let's talk about YouTube ad formats. So you have skippable in stream, which we're all familiar with, especially if you don't pay for YouTube, or you happen to switch to an account and don't pay for it, or if you're not, for example, on NFL Sunday Ticket, even with those, there's skippable in stream. Can't avoid it. It's the way they do it, right? We have bumper ads. Bumper ads are in between videos. Okay. We have non-skippable, which are totally like lower grade, not free versions. And then we have it in the feed and the search results, which a lot of Amazon and competitor ads are in. We have it in the masthead, which is the big video. It's nice to be there. And then out of stream, which are the different formats. And so we have to create all the different formats, which are only three. So it fills in all these spaces. Okay. Victor, do you have any guidance or recommendations or ideas when it comes to creating vertical landscape and square videos?
Uh, the metrics are, or those particular, excuse me, those specifications on how those particular three, again, just three formats are designed. What we see is that depending on their placement, again, it helps with the conversion. So if they're in a short form, I'm just using that as an example, then the better performing videos actually match the specifications of the size of what's being needed. I know it may seem very trivial, but again, we're always going for that best metric of what we're looking for. And so that's why we always give guidance and recommendation on definitely ensuring that we're following those best practices that are being put forward.
Yep. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to jump right to the very end here. We have another slide, but I'm going to show you something within Google. So Google has a product that most of y'all are familiar with now, but maybe don't know how it works. It's called Demand Gen. Okay, so it does a very smart job of doing all these really cool things that we talked about automatically and builds lookalike audiences and has experiments where we can run multiple video sets. However, that's not regular YouTube video sequencing we just talked about. That's a different product, but Demand Gen is the fastest way to get off the ground. Now, if we look in Dyer Vent Wizards of the Woodlands account, we can see that we just started his less than 30 days ago. And we can see that his cost per conversion, which I'm sure everybody loves this part, right, is $70. And that was only 30 days ago that we started that. And we were able to set a target CPA almost immediately because it creates so much demand. Look at this let's see, we spent 3,000. Now Kenny's dropping some cash, right? So 3,000, but it's 50-cent clicks, 411,000 impressions. Commercial was seen 400,000 times. How many times can you get your commercial on regular TV, streaming TV, whatever the case may be, seen 400,000 times for that amount of money? Not many. Now we track the clicks and we actually get conversions, and there's been a ton of conversions. Quality of conversions matter. What we've been tuning now because of the call center, because of quality and people looking for jobs, we're now only calling first-time phone calls. If it's 30 seconds, in some cases 45 seconds, we're only counting those. So if you don't make it to that far in the call log, we don't import that as a conversion going forward as of 7 days ago. That way we're not building trash data inside the system. So this is a very successful campaign immediately right out of the gate and builds a lot of volume very quickly. And this is what it is. And it basically runs on all these platforms. And it uses the lookalike audiences, which is really nice because now that's their new product and competitor to social media ads. All right, so I'm going to stop my share, go to the last screen, and then we'll go to Q&A. Just one moment here. Screen one. Okay. All right, Victor, can you see practical steps for Dyer Vent Wizard? Last slide.
Yes, we can see it.
Great. I've done a good job. I had some technical issues earlier. All right. So here's your retargeting action plan for everybody at Dyer Vent Wizard that are our clients. We've already launched some retargeting ads on Meta. We're building audiences with the video that we made for everybody. We only got a couple assets. They're not the best. They're not the worst. We need your help. Next step is to get as many videos, and that can be cuts, as possible. And then we need to create them. We want to maximize the assets available to you so we can share the costs and give franchise owners access to as many videos as possible. We'll share the videos across owners where we have permission, allowing everyone to leverage the assets hitting the key selling points. Franchisees can provide feedback on the scripts and send in clips to create custom videos that they want. So not everybody has to share. We can do customizations. If a customer videos are requested, we'll handle them on a per owner basis. Finally, once the videos are ready, we'll launch them on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, or whatever platforms you want to be on. So we will monitor, optimize, and scale those campaigns as we go. So in summary, we're already doing what's on the slide here. We've installed the Facebook pixel and the Google tag. If we got to do the TikTok, no problem. We're already defining target audiences. Anybody that can give us their email list, that would be ideal. We're going to be monitoring and scaling. we're going to be sending out instructions for helping us to build video ads and sharing them and getting permission. And then we'll launch your new ad systems with your appropriate budgets that you approve. All right, so that is the end of the presentation that I have. We'll be open for Q&A now. And Victor, would you like to go ahead and open it up to Q&A?
Yes, let's go ahead and open it up to Q&A. Any questions that anyone would like to ask at this time, please? Feel free to raise your hand and or unmute yourself.
I have a quick question. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Awesome. Hey, I know that, everybody goes to Google to look up things and look for businesses and things like that, and grateful for all that you guys are doing to turn our business around for sure. We are ever so grateful. But I have a question. As more and more people are going like to ChatGPT and asking those questions, how will that, I'm sure you guys are working on some kind of AI redirect as well, or somehow to tap into that?
Great question. So, Victor, do you mind if I answer this one?
No, go right ahead.
ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, they're all changing the landscape. What they do is very similar to Google. They haven't replaced Google. They've only taken 1% of the market share. That's significant considering 91% of the market share has been Google in the last 20 years. So 1% is still very small though. But we optimize for ChatGPT in a couple different ways. So ChatGPT is not an ad system. It does not look for ads. Okay, it looks for organic content only and Google reviews and all types of reviews. There was a study that was released by Neil Patel last week, and it turned out if you had 200 plus reviews and they were 5 stars, not 4, ChatGPT, Google Perplexity, all of them would consider your content and consider your reviews and rank you. But if you had 4 stars or less, that was a negative for ChatGPT. So what we do with our sites that are much larger, so we have sites that get like 2.5 million impressions in a week and get 180 phone calls a day, this kind of thing. And so with these guys, they're finding out ChatGPT is a lead source. Is it significant? It's significant enough. I mean, we're getting maybe 5-10% of those calls coming through. How are they getting to them? They're indexing the content on the website. So that leads me back to the geo and service pages. If you don't have all your geo and service pages and blog pages, especially blogs, because those are nuanced topics, and they're not all in the subfolder of your main Neighborly website, ChatGPT has no way to figure out what your content of your website's about. And if your reviews are poor and you don't have an address visible on your Google My Business page, it doesn't know how to look at your trust, doesn't know how to look at your address, and it doesn't know how to look at your content. So if all that stuff is empty, then it doesn't have much to go on. But as we start to fill up these geo and service pages and you continue getting good Google reviews, ChatGPT is going to suck that up. We actually have Cloudflare to show you actually where ChatGPT crawls the websites. And interesting enough, Applebot is the highest crawler, which is interesting because Apple is agnostic. So they're using ChatGPT, Gemini, you name it. They don't care. They're collecting as much information as possible from every source, obviously for their own benefit, for their own intelligence.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yep.
So is chat GTP, is that localized or is that like on a national scale?
That is on a worldwide scale and national.
Okay.
I just made a quick search on dryer vent cleaning near me with ChatGPT 4. And we're in the first place, Dryer Vent Wizard of Hollywood, Beverly Hills, CA, specializes in thorough dryer vent cleaning, installation, and repair services to enhance dryer efficiency and safety. And obviously, it seems ChatGPT knows where you are. So if you type in near me, that's already a hit for the local services.
That's correct. And interesting enough, too, is ChatGPT users, and we are constant ChatGPT users. We spend thousands of dollars per month with all of our team who uses it. We're creating our own AI. We have AI engineers. We're very familiar with this topic. So what it's doing is it's looking for high quality, super long tail searches. Because what people are doing? They're talking to ChatGPT, they're talking to Perplexity, they're talking to Grok now as well. And they'll say, things like, hey, my dryer's not doing this. I got this code. It looks like I got some water here. It's backed up. I'm not drying. What do I call? What do I do? Literally, they're saying things like that. Like they're saying full sentences. When they do that, ChatGPT then goes sources information and then pulls in all the data points, which are typically coming from blogs. Where else are you going to get that information? Something interesting too, this is not about retargeting, but we got access to Google Search Console starting today from one Dyer Vent Wizard owner. We're supposed to getting in bulk for all of you. Google Search Console will tell us the queries that are coming from organic and what page you're on. This is invaluable gold. This now tells us what strategy to build content on instead of just randomly building content. And if a page, like a new replacement or repair or cleaning page, gets built, and we find out 3 months down the line, it's on the second page, Google search performance from Google Search Console will tell us where you lie organically. So now we're going to have data points from real user searches and ads, but the main holy grail of Google SEO and even ads is Google Search Console. So we're getting that access, and we'll be sharing that with everybody soon. Parker and Jason are working on that together.
Amazing how far you guys are ahead of us. It's so wonderful. I don't know when you guys sleep, but I'm grateful.
I don't. I'm a bat. I hang upside down.
I bet.
And I wanted to ask about the video. I think you mentioned it on the last call also, that you were going to be enlisting some of the owners to do some of the filming for the little commercials. Is there any more information or time scale or anything on it?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're going to do is we're going to reach out to everybody after this meeting, action items, and we're going to give you our script ideas, at least general ideas of what pain points we should be hitting and selling points, and break it up into residential and commercial. And we're going to have everybody submit their clips or go film their clips, and whoever wants to participate. And a question for Dyer Vent Wizard of Los Angeles. We helped you make a really awesome, because you have awesome assets, one video so far. Do you mind if we share that with other owners? If so, it's totally cool. But yeah, you have some good assets there.
Okay. Yeah. My content creator just approved.
Awesome. I think, is she here?
Yeah, she's here.
Okay, perfect. All right. Yep. And I just replied to y'all. So yeah, they've got some excellent content. And we'll be collaborating with everybody who wants to participate on this. So Courtney, timeline is soon. We have in-house video designers. We don't have to wait on anything. So as soon as we have approval on ideas and then we have assets collected, then everybody willing to share, that just throws more in the pot. So if we got, I think we have 18 people. We had like 22 people earlier on this call. Sorry, we have 22 people on this call earlier. If let's say 10 people submit and we actually make, 20 videos out of that, boom, we've got the whole thing. Maybe it's iteration one and we can make it better, but that's much better than showing 1 or 2 ads. Now we can show like 20 ads or 10 ads, for everybody's retargeting.
Should we just email them to you?
Yeah, we'll give precise instructions where to upload videos and then upload photos, and we'll give precise instructions on how to respond to the video scripts.
Terrific.
So I was on LinkedIn the other day, and I saw Ed Roush. They had come up with something new. It was actually like a little cartoon. I think it was called like Linty or something like that. Looked kind of neat. The quality and production looks pretty good. I don't know. Can we steal that maybe?
I haven't spoken to him. If somebody can speak to him and ask him if we can use it, I'm okay with that. But I don't have a personal relationship with him yet.
It's difficult to get a hold of.
Okay.
So maybe we can, maybe someone can track them down though and get that video.
Yeah, I think that would be great. The quality looked really, really nice.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think that we have some old commercial from Chris that he just submitted. One was animation. It's probably not the same thing, I'd assume. Let's take a look here. He found him on a YouTube page that he had. One was animation, one was not. So
I have one too. I don't know if you guys still have it, but I can shoot it over if you don't. The local news station here
was it something
in my
like this?
area created it.
That's an old that was produced by corporate a while ago because that's got the old Dyer Vent Wizard logo in it.
Got it. Understood. Yeah, he said they were old. We have 2 old assets from him.
I'm gonna send an email to Ed Roush now and see if we can get a hold of that.
And we have animators, explainers, and all that kind of stuff. Real video is going to make a bigger difference, right? And I think Dyer Vent Wizard of Los Angeles content creator, she's has some good blowing out videos, that kind of thing. So anything that we can speak to pain points. But yeah, if Ed Roush is willing to share that, that would be fantastic.
I've got a 60-second and a 30-second video that the local news station created for me. You guys are welcome to use that too. I don't know if I've sent that over to you guys. I think I did with all the videos that I had uploaded, but I can send again if you don't have it. Welcome to use that.
Send again, just because you did send us like 6,000 things.
Yeah, 700 pictures and I think 30 videos. So yeah, I can shoot that over.
Yeah, just so we're really specific on what you're talking about.
Okay.
Does anybody have any more questions about retargeting, geo service pages, next steps? Any questions out of left field?
I have a question on demand gen. You mentioned for retargeting kind of what minimum budgets could look like to be effective. Do you have a similar like minimum daily budgets for demand gen to start off with to be effective?
Yeah, so demand gen gets more demand than PMAX. So that's it's kind of like building demand, top of funnel. So even if you were to start off at $10 or $20 a day, you would be fine, and we would be able to build from that. It will show your commercials a lot.
Okay, I want to turn that on.
Okay, if anybody has like, okay, I want this absolutely, please do that and use the videos you already have, and we're not already doing that for you, just shoot us an email to Rosie and myself and Victor. That way we can at least get that started for you if you're super interested now.
I have two short questions on LinkedIn and Nextdoor. First question, Nextdoor, let's say neighborly community, pretty strong in the States, also in the LA area. We had some ads there, but it's hard to manage, hard to track. Do you know if like Google ads and retargeting and all this stuff and video ads are also appearing on Nextdoor automatically? Do they basically sell their space to Google too?
Not at the moment. Now, what Meta has done is they're integrating with Google Analytics 4, and so all the conversions from Google are simply going through Google Analytics into Meta. I'm hoping that Nextdoor gets on the same bandwagon, and so does Spotify as well, because we're running radio as well, or streaming. But right now, Nextdoor seems to be in a silo.
Okay, and the other question is LinkedIn. You mentioned something like targeting property management, commercial customers on LinkedIn. I think that's a very great idea to at least to follow that path. I'd like to join there.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and that one can be very specific too, because you can pick CEOs, you can pick apartment people, lookalike audiences. The only thing with LinkedIn, they're a little bit different with their bidding. So you can't just say, oh, I want $5 a day. They minimum are $500 a month. So, which isn't the end of the world, right? But just letting you know, they work a bit differently. Anybody got any questions beyond that? If you don't have any questions, I would have a question to all of you. What would y'all like to see on our next webinar or more information about in general? Go ahead, Darren.
Is it possible to learn more about how we can use tools that are available to us to kind of like spy on our competitors and what they're doing that works? Similar to the conversation that you and I had offline about how, if Amazon's showing up, they obviously know what they're doing. You can kind of peek behind the curtain and see what they're doing to get there, that type of thing.
Yeah, so everybody's got access for free to Keyword Planner from Google. Is anybody familiar? Darren, are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Okay, so that's one tool. Now, when you start talking about Amazon, that's a whole different world. We Amazon PPC and we do all that kind of stuff. You need to subscribe to something called Seller Sprite. You can get a free version of it for a week. That will give you all the details on the Dyer Vent products that they're selling. Okay, now everything's segmented, unfortunately. Even on our super expensive SEMrush platform, we have to buy all these individual apps for everything that we do. So another good one to spy on is SpyFu, which isn't bad. You can get competitors' ads, SPYFU. And then for meta ads, you can go to the Transparency Center, which I really like. So Google has a Transparency Center, Facebook has a Transparency Center, TikTok has a Transparency Center. And what you do is you go into these libraries and then you can search for all the video ads based on themes or your competitors directly, like Dyer Vent superheroes or whatever. So you can see what video assets, video image assets, and text that they're using. And you can also see how stupid they have set it up as well. Go ahead, Darren. Your hand's still up.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I just lowered it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, if anybody has any questions about looking into other people's ads and you want like direct access, feel free to email us. We'll probably make it part of our job form. Rosie, please notate that. Thank you. That way we can give you some free tools so you can verify what you're doing and verify what we're doing as well. Go ahead, Kenneth.
This isn't, I mean, this is one of my competitors that I just popped up here recently, but Dyer Vent Superheroes. I've done a little research on their website, and they're offering pretty much pricing for their cleanings right up front. So I don't know exactly how I feel about that, but as far as me doing it, but I think it's something that if this is how the competitors and how the market is shifting towards, then I think that it may be something wise for us to look at. Even if it's on the landing page or if it's whatever it is, I don't know. It's on their corporate site, but um, if that's the way that the market's going to swing, then we're going to probably have to adapt to it rather than get lost by it. So I don't know if there's a creative way to integrate some of that where it doesn't seem, I had a customer say to me that speaking to the call center the other day, we just seemed like we were going to be more expensive than the company that she booked with. And this is just food for thought for everyone to just kind of contemplate in creative ways in which we can kind of put something out there without putting too much. But just something that I've seen competitors doing. And that's a franchise that's popping up. I mean, you can go on their website and search all their locations by state. And if you don't have one near you already, but I mean, they're a good hour away from me, their current location, and they have integrated into my territory somehow. So just some ideas or food for thought, I guess.
I completely agree with you. This is the only company, franchise, any organization that we work with that does not do some type of pricing promotions. I think it's a super negative. There are a couple ways to combat it. You can offer promotion assets in all ad systems. Landing pages, as you mentioned, you can offer promotion. You can say starting at. I don't know if any of that stuff makes sense. I know some things don't, some things do. But all of your competitors talk about pricing, whether it be in the ads, whether it be in the landing page, whether it be on the main website. I mean, you could do a simple test, and we're doing this right now with email marketing, offering discounts. And if somebody forwards it to a friend, they get a discount. And that seems to be working. And just to your point here, make sure I'm sharing this. So this is Dyer Vent. You said Heroes, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is them. This is their main site. Let's take a look at what's happened to them over the last year. So while they haven't grown tremendously in particularly like organic traffic, their ads are through the roof. And that's why they're able to be in your every market. I believe that they're using a shared ad campaign between all their owners, and they're throwing all the money into the same pot, personally, because I've seen this happen before. This is a tool that's not even that great at looking at advertisements, and it's peaking off the chart, 22,000 visitors per month just from Google Ads. Now, they're nowhere near DryerVentWizard.com organic traffic yet, but they're building steam. And if we go into their advertising and take a look at, some of their stuff that they got going on for their advertising, for ad history, we can take a look at this. Oh, sorry. That should have just translated right over. And this is just a simple tool, right? We have much more extensive tools, but this one gives us a good idea. And then anybody can search Google Transparency Center. And when you go here, this is free for everybody. You can just put in the advertiser's name, put it in, boom. Start to see their image assets and how they do all their site links and everything that they do, part of our research. And here we can see their keywords, which are bringing them volume. Now they do air duct cleaning too. And so they've got a bigger footprint as far as it goes with the keyword searches. So they overlap you and they do different things. But you can see here, nothing here is drastically different than what we're using. And we don't want to use keywords too far out of the web pool. Out of the pool, keyword pool, because it's going to dilute results. So everything we've searched up, way up, down, left, right, you name it, we are using the keywords that make sense. We found some that they're not using, which makes sense. So hopefully that speaks to that point. They're hitting on the ads very hard.
Yeah, I find it hilarious that there is no national online ads budget within the franchise. It's hilarious. It's the single most important resource for revenue, and there's no support. But maybe we are setting we are setting it up for a start of a national budget, kind of, with Activate.
Well, it'd be interesting. I thought about doing this as a demand gen and a PMAX. We'll pay it out of our own budget, do a small test for all the United States, and see how many calls and leads we generate for people and start getting a tally. I don't know if we could do that or effectively. We'd have to get the the schedule form on the Neighborly site, like under control. Because we don't want to land forms to something that we track, then we'd have to filter that to people. Or we could do just call only ads. But yeah, once we get integrated with Neighborly, we were thinking about running a nationwide campaign just to see a test.
Not auto trace it, but it's like a hockey puck.
We talking about hockey pucks?
you send it to your guys in the office to open it in the newer version, and then
Okay, I muted Darren. Darren, you had your hand raised. Did you want to talk?
Yeah, did you share your suspicions about the pooling of the resources with Neighborly at all? To see if that might jar them into some consideration there?
What do you mean specifically? I didn't understand your question.
When you showed us the report there with the Dyer Vent superheroes, you said that your suspicion was that they were kind of pooling all the franchise. Like, have you shared any of that theory with Neighborly?
So Parker and Jason have been very helpful, and we've presented a lot of information, including site audits of DyerVentWizard.com, competitor reports, access to agency analytics. They're looking for a unified solution, and Jason's very switched on to all this kind of stuff. So I haven't included anybody on these emails because we're working the back channels, including things like getting things submitted at mass bulk, like Google Search Console and GeoService pages. So yes, we are working with them, and they've shared concerns, and they're all in agreement. All right, so we're coming towards the end of our time here. If anybody doesn't have any more questions, then I would suggest if you have any follow-up questions, email us, and then we'll schedule an appointment with you or reply back. And Ben,
has his hand up.
I've got one
Ben,
quick.
go ahead, Ben. Long time no talk. What's up, man?
Very good to talk to you again. Thank you. So the pooling of resources, I understand that it may not work for some avenues, but are there any avenues? I can't even come up with an idea for one, but is there anything that we can pool resources and put into a big pot for? Does that make sense?
Give me an example. Do you have like a simple example so I can understand better?
Okay, so we get 10 different Dyer Vent Wizards to put money into a pot to advertise a campaign on a certain site, because we're talking about pooling resources, how Dyer Vent superheroes are doing. Is there any way to do it in a way that actually is beneficial?
I see. Yes. So if we get access to the online scheduler, because that's going to be the most important part, I would like to drive this type of traffic to the main site and drive traffic to basically where people are wherever they're at, and do a nationwide campaign, best assets, best site links, best everything. And then if we pull together a few resources and run a nationwide campaign, that's what we're willing to test it out at first. And let's say we're suddenly getting, and by the way, nationwide campaign, I mean, in the states that we're marketing for our particular clients, I don't mind getting leads for other people. But if you're not our client and you're in like one of the other 20 states or like 15 states we're not marketing in for those clients, that doesn't make sense. That's not fair, right? So if we were to do like all the states that you're in, or maybe cities, let's do it like that, your territories, and do a collective, bigger brand awareness campaign, that could be helpful as too. So there are some options we're kind of weighing there. It says he's connecting to
Quick
audio.
question
Hopefully.
too.
Yep, go ahead, Jordan.
As far as pricing, so you see that as something that needs to change here in the near future, especially if all of our competitors are offering that. Would you recommend maybe like a starting price, and how soon do you think that should be added? Should we implement that immediately on like landing pages and or the main site? What are your thoughts?
Somebody's got to be the crash dummy, right? Crash test dummy. So I do highly suggest that we do some type of test that's acceptable. So Jordan, if that means for you and you're the sacrificial lamb, and then you deal with the issues that come on that side of it, then so be it. But we absolutely need to test it, because what if we're missing out on a huge opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, I've changed the scripting at the call center to, our cleanings start at 140, and that's for, a venting system that's 4 feet or under. I feel like I do book more appointments, and, when I get into the house to explain, the jump from 140 to 225, which is our standard cleaning, you can walk somebody through the process and, explain our system and processes and what we do, I don't really get any pushback. I've never gotten a negative review, saying that it's, false advertising or whatever the case may be. So if that's going to get us more jobs and our competitors are doing it, yeah, put it on mine. I mean, I'll be more than willing to try it.
Shoot us an email, Jordan. Shoot us an
Okay.
email, Jordan, with these details, and we'll set you up first.
Beautiful.
I see 2 phones. One's called John, and then I think I see Doug. Oh no, I don't Do I see Doug? No. John's iPhone too.
Oh yeah, it's me, John. I don't mind. I also keep mine on my Google Business profile. I made like a spreadsheet and kind of showed it up on there. So for good info, because for those who did happen to go to the website or meet my business page, a few of them did ask, and then I just kind of did it so it's a little bit more smooth of a process for the customers, because that was one of the biggest holdups as well. Just wasn't our price.
If you could shoot that over to us, then we'll happily implement that on yours as well.
Thanks, man.
Can you tell us what your Google page is so I can what that looks like?
Yeah, it's just Dyer Vent Wizard of Northeast Dallas.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yep. And then
Yeah,
after
I don't
this,
know.
we're going to collectively collect all the data that everybody's taking. Like if you're taking notes, great. But we'll come up with all these ideas and punch list and who's going to do what, and we'll share it with everybody.
So question, are you guys also charging a service fee? Is that advertised?
Advertised, who are you asking?
Like Jordan, and I'm not sure who the other gentleman was up speaking.
Yeah,
John.
on mine, I
No.
put in there for mine. I put in the service fee. It kind of breaks it down. I have like if you go to my business page, there's a one slider that kind of explains everything, and then that I offer like a military discount, military teachers, and over 65.
Yeah, yes and no. So I don't want to get iced on, appointments that, you quoted out and they end up not going with you. I mean, that rarely happens, but, for somebody who's just a tire kicker, like if no work is performed, we do charge the service fee. If work is performed, we void that. And that is in the call center scripting as well, to kind of still get the same amount. Because the standard cleaning or the pricing suggestion from corporate was, 201. I've gone up on everything. I've raised my prices 12% across the board on installations, you name it. So I'm 225 for a base cleaning. Transitions, we're 113. I'm 126 now. So that the increased prices are, I think I'm $10 under what it would be if it was in addition to the service fee. So yes and no, as far as that's concerned. But again, I don't get any pushback. I'm in upstate New York, though. I mean, everything's expensive up here, so I think people kind of expect it. So I guess it just depends on your market.
Jordan, John, if you don't mind emailing us all this information, then we can kind of share it with everybody as well, because I don't think it's bad to have at least some type of idea from every owner of how you do things.
Sounds good.
Does anybody have anything else? If not, coming at the end of this, I've got a jet, literally, got to go to Orlando. So we can pick up the conversation, and feel free to email us. And we're very happy that everybody came today.
Thanks,
Victor.
everybody. Great meeting.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, amazing meeting.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Greg.
Thank you, sir.
All right. See you, everybody.
Take care.